Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to my YouTube channel or my podcast. I'm Will, coming out of the Multidimensional Guide, and I'm here to help you awaken, heal, and expand your consciousness. Tomorrow is my birthday. It's my 40th birthday. So I didn't plan on making this video, but I was just inspired to do this video, and it's an impromptu video, and I decided to go for it. Just press record. I just came back from the gym. I didn't do much planning. I did write some things just to follow a structure that I created just before I started recording, and I'm gonna try my best to edit very little. So yes, this is also something that I want to do more often, which is just follow the inspiration, follow the guidance, and try my best to do less editing in my life in general. But one of the things that I have been reflecting on, I would say throughout the whole year, because at the same time last year I wrote a post on Instagram, and one of the things I said is that I felt a sense of contentment. And I've been reflecting on what being content, what contentment really means, because that's how I feel. And I know December in general is a month where most of us feel very reflective. We think about the year that we've experienced and the year ahead. There's the solstice, the 11/11 portal, there's Christmas, there's the New Year's Eve. For me, there's my birthday. So I have been very reflective over the last month, and I just wanted to share some things that I figured out for myself. I wanted to share a little bit of my journey, a little bit of my life, because most of the time I post videos that are more informative or educational. Sometimes it's guided meditation or breath work or channeled messages, conversation episodes, which I love, and I'll keep doing this. But every now and then I like to put myself out there on a personal level and share a little bit more of my personal journey, so that this can hopefully inspire you somehow. And as always, I don't claim to share absolute truth. It's just my feeling, it's just my journey, it's just my experience, and again, hopefully it will resonate with you, and if it doesn't, that's okay. So I actually have 10 things about contentment, because I thought of what it means, but also things that what it doesn't mean, because I feel like there is a very fine line between being content and being apathetic towards life, towards everything. And I do think that people that are genuinely content with their life can come across as apathetic sometimes. This is actually the first thing that I want to share about being content. Being content doesn't mean that you don't have desires or goals. It doesn't mean that there is nothing that you want to achieve. I feel a sense of contentment, but at the same time, I do want to achieve certain things. I do have goals, but I think the main difference is that I'm not identified with my goals anymore like I was before. Like I had to be successful, like I had to be a recording artist, and it was like my life, my happiness depended on it. And I know that it doesn't depend on me achieving my dreams and my goals, because I know that if I'm content right now, if I'm good right now with where I am, regardless of whether I have challenges or not, because we all do. And I'm not here to say I'm perfect, I have no challenges, and I'm happy all the time, which is something that I'll talk about. No, it's different. It's a different feeling. Being content does not mean that I don't want to achieve anything, that I don't have any desires. I do have desires, I do have goals, but I'm not identified with them. So I know that my life doesn't depend on them, and I'm enjoying the process and the journey much more than the destination, because I know as cliche as it sounds, I know that what really matters is the journey rather than the destination. It is something that I've experienced myself, so that's why I can say from experience. Number 2, being content doesn't mean that you settle for less, but you also acknowledge the level of abundance you're in. So it's similar to the first one. It doesn't mean that you're just like, I'm just gonna settle for less. It doesn't mean that you necessarily don't want to attract more abundance in your life, whether it's financial abundance or abundance of time, abundance of love, of abundance of health. You don't settle for less. You want the best, you want the highest quality in all areas of your life, but you also acknowledge that you are an abundant being and you come from that place of abundance. And I think for me that's the best quote-unquote manifestation hack that you can possibly have, which is to visualize and want to manifest things, but coming from a place of I am abundant, I have everything that I need. And again, abundance doesn't only mean financial abundance. It's one slice of the pizza. Abundance can mean so many things, and I think actually can mean different things for different people. Number 3, being content doesn't mean that you're happy or joyful all the time. It's just that, and this is related to the expansion of consciousness and this healing journey that I often talk about. When you are aware of your emotional system, you're aware of your emotions, you just allow them to move through you. You understand that an emotion is energy in motion. You feel it, you allow it to move it through you, you acknowledge it, you don't judge it, and then you just feel the emotion with more ease and grace, and you stop judging. I feel sad, or I feel frustrated, and I feel angry, and then you just resist that emotion. Obviously, if you're feeling angry all the time and that's your default, then there's something there to work on. But generally speaking, we will move through ranges of emotion. It's a full spectrum of emotions that we get to experience as a human being here. Number 4, being content means you prioritize your peace over being right or your worries. And I think peace and contentment are things that are kind of in the same vibration for me. And again, it doesn't mean that you may not come across conflicting situations with yourself and with other people, because it's gonna happen. But at the end of the day, literally at the end of the day, when you lay your head on your pillow to sleep, you can find that peace. You can connect with your heart center. And that for me is probably the best definition of success. If you can lay down most nights, lay your head on your pillow and find peace and sleep well, you are successful in my mind. And you are content, or on your way to finding that contentment. What is it now? 5, being content doesn't mean there's nothing else to learn or experience. And that's an interesting one, because there's always more to learn, there's always more to experience. But when you're content, genuinely content, you're not in a hurry, or you're not necessarily starving for knowledge or for information or for more experiences. And I think this is actually connected to the next one, which is number 6. Being content may only be possible once you've lived a lot or had a life full of experiences, but it doesn't have to be that way. So I think they're very connected, because once you had a lot of life, let's say, you've had a lot of experiences, you feel more content. And I think it's because you've had those experiences. You've traveled, or you've met a lot of people, or you've worked in many jobs, and that's actually happened to me. I've done all of that, and I still want to do more things, but I don't have that hunger or that rush. I don't feel like time is running out. So I think that's the main difference. But what I wrote here about it doesn't have to be that way, because I think it really doesn't have to be that way. You can be, it is possible to be content even if you haven't had that many experiences. And what comes to mind now is when you observe children, especially toddlers, they're content. They're like the best definition of content, because they are just in awe of everything, and they're happy with a box of paper or a plastic ball, right? Which takes me to the next one, number 7. Being content means you appreciate the small, big, or ordinary, extraordinary things in life. And I was asked this question this year, what brings you joy, Will? And the first thing that came to my mind was eating. I love eating. I love drinking coffee. I love eating fruit. I love eating nutritious food. I love just walking in nature. That brings me joy. And it's really those small things that we perceive as small things, but that's why I wrote small, big things, ordinary, extraordinary things. But because I think that these small things, or these seemingly ordinary things, for me, it's what brings me joy. And if you're able to genuinely feel that these small things bring you joy in your life, then you are content. And number 8, being content may mean you have no regrets. And even if you do, you are working on it, but from a place of wholeness and love. I believe it is possible to live a life without regrets. And even if there is 1 or 2 or 3 or a bunch, even if they're small regrets or big regrets, there's always time, there's always tools and resources that you can use to work on it. But the best thing is to work on them from a place of wholeness, from a place of love, because that means you know that you're not broken, and you know things happen for a reason, and the reason being your evolution and your growth. So that's very much related to the healing journey that I often talk about. Always come from a place of wholeness and love, and know that you're not broken. Number 9, being content means if today was your last day on earth, you would just be right where you are. And there's a shamanic saying that says this: today is a good day to die. And not from a creepy place. It is from a place of, similar to that, I have no regrets, I've had experiences, I'm content. And so I think that's probably one of the best definitions of being content, is if you can really tell yourself, not from a depressive place either, but from a place of contentment, really. If today was my last day, it's okay. Today is a good day to die. And also, if you use this shamanic saying for yourself, it's a good thing, because you wake up thinking, well, this actually can be my last day, so I'm gonna make the most of it, because life and death are very, very close. They are, for me, they are two sides of the same coin, and when you think of death, you may want to live more, right? So yeah, being content means you can genuinely say this and really mean it from the bottom of your heart. And lastly, being content also brings a high level of detachment and trust, which kind of goes back to what I said in the beginning, that sometimes being content or having that sense of contentment can perhaps come across as detachment and apathy, in that sense, like, I don't care, whatever happens. It's a fine line between that. It's not quite there. It's just the detachment in the sense that you trust. Detachment and trust, in this case, they are very, very close together. You know that you are guided, that you are protected, that you are loved, and that you are consciousness having the experience of yourself. I am consciousness having the experience of will in this time and space, in this lifetime, and I honor that. And when you honor that, and when you practice and you nurture that wisdom within you, then you can be detached, in the sense that if something that you really wanted didn't happen, you know that there's something else that's on the way, and you know that this is just part of the process. That, again, doesn't mean that you're not going to be sad, that you're not going to be frustrated if something happens that it's not what you wanted, that's not the outcome that you wanted, but you just trust that whatever outcome comes up for you, you will be able to handle it, and there is a reason for this, and this process, which is the evolution of consciousness as yourself. If you can trust that, then you're trusting the universe, and you're trusting that the only way is your evolution as a human being, as a soul, and as consciousness. So this is it. 10 things. I'm gonna put them in the description. Maybe this video will be a little bit longer, this podcast will be a little bit longer than usual, but I hope that you stuck with me. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, thank you so much for your presence here. Thank you for joining me on my journey, and I am honored and humbled to be able to help people as well in their journey, in their spiritual journey and multidimensional journey. So I just want to finish this by saying that, next year, one of my main focus will be my 9-week program called the Multidimensional Self. It's 9 weeks, 9 dimensions of consciousness, 9 master classes about each dimension, 9 healing sessions with breathwork and meditation, lots of practice, lots of support from me, from the community. It's a close-knit community. And one of my intentions is actually to provide you a template and a structure and some practices that you can practice, that you can do to find that sense of peace and that sense of contentment within yourself. Spoiler, I believe it's week 8. We actually do a little bit of manifestation practices, and we talk about, the idea that the universe will always provide you with whatever you wish for, but we come from a place of contentment. So it is a little bit different and a little bit against the flow of the mainstream manifestation that you may be familiar with. So lots to share. If you want to learn more about that, you can go to the multidimensionalself.com. You can find the link in the description, and you can apply. We'll start in January. It's the 16th of January, but we'll have more groups during the year. So whenever you're watching this, you can just click the link in the description. You'll find out when it's the next date. And that's it. I hope to hear from you, and let me know in the comments how this has resonated with you. Did I miss anything? What do you think is contentment? What do you think it means to be content? Let me know in the comments, and which of these have resonated most with you. Thank you so much. As always, keep your heart open, keep shining your light, and let love lead the way. I love you. See you in the next episode. Bye.